Hello, my friends. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Once again, this is Spiritism, a closer look. Luiz Lima here, broadcasting from Orlando, Florida, and you are following us on Kardec Radio. Thank you very much for joining us once again. Our program, just so that you know, we do it live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Tonight, we're going to take a closer look at instinct and intelligence. We can find this very useful information on the Spirit's book, questions 71 through 75, but also on the Genesis. We have very interesting information on the Genesis at length. So in chapter 3, the name of the chapter is Good and Evil, and it goes from items 11 through 19. We are going to use these two sources for our discussion here tonight. So let's get to it. We need to put things into context a little bit before we can even start talking about it. So we're going to go back to the very beginning, something that we've mentioned here a few times, but let's go back to creation itself. So creation, we have two elements under God. So from God, under God, we have spirit, which is the intelligent principle, and matter, which comes from the universal cosmic fluid. So we have spirit and matter. And these things, these two elements, they have no common place. Nothing is common to both. If matter, as we know it, has nothing to do with intelligence. There is no intelligence in the matter. Matter is inert, and vice versa. There is no matter in the spirit or the soul. So instinct and intelligence are things that belong to the spirit side of things, the spirit world. They have nothing to do with matter. They do not depend, instinct and intelligence do not depend at all on the material principle, which are the seeds of anything that one day is going to be matter of some form. Instinct and intelligence have absolutely nothing to do with the material principle, nothing to do with vital principle, nothing to do with the universal cosmic fluid or anything, absolutely anything that has to do with matter. They are, both of them, instinct and intelligence, they are attributes of the intelligent principle. Intelligent principle. That's where it comes from. It has nothing to do with matter. And because we have several different levels of intelligence, God being the supreme intelligence, but we have several different levels because all the spirits, they are on a certain level of advancement. So some are more advanced, some are less advanced, some are just starting out, some are always purified completely. So the intelligence is related to the level of advancement of the being. It depends on where they are in their development, in their advancement in terms of spirit or soul. Again, spirit and intelligence has nothing to do with matter. And the beings, right? The beings are classified or grouped in three, according to Spiritist literature. And they are, first, inanimate beings. We're going to talk about each one. Number two, animate, non-thinking beings. Number three, animate beings. So three different types of beings. Let's talk a little bit about each one here. So first, inanimate beings. These are beings formed of matter alone. There is no vitality and no intelligence in these beings. Examples, the entire mineral kingdom. They have no, minerals have no intelligence, no vitality, there is no life. They are formed of inert matter alone. That's it. Second type, animate, non-thinking beings. Meaning, animate means there's life, but non-thinking means there is no intelligence. So these are beings formed of matter with vitality, but no intelligence. For example, plants, they don't have any intelligence. And the third type, animate beings, they are formed of matter. They do have vitality and they do have intelligence. They have the ability to think and make decisions and go through, discernment processes and so on and so. So 3 types of beings. Now, when you look at all the kingdoms, each one has a particular attribute that is outstanding. Mineral kingdom, that attribute is attraction. Minerals are formed by atoms that, bond together. That's attraction right there, and will form molecules and so and so. So mineral kingdom, outstanding attribute, attraction. Plants kingdom, outstanding attribute, sensation. Plants they have sensation. If you put them on a dark room with a little hole in one of the sides, they will kind of grow to that side because they need the light. They need to grow in that direction. They have sensation. Animal kingdom, outstanding attribute, instinct. Human kingdom, outstanding attribute, reasoning. See, we're going every time higher at a higher later. Angelical kingdom, divinity. That's the outstanding attribute. So you see, for each kingdom, the beings have their attributes. So instinct starts as an outstanding attribute in the animal kingdom. And intelligence will come with reasoning in the human's kingdom. So what exactly is the difference between instinct and intelligence? Are they the same? Are they related? So let's go by definition first, and then we'll discuss a few things. Instinct, let's try to define this, each one of them. Instinct, we could define as this hidden force that drives organic life, right? That drives organic beings to spontaneous and unintentional acts, having their self-preservation in mind. So it's something almost automated. There is no reflection. You don't reflect upon things, no calculation, no premeditation, no strategy, nothing like this. It's like you can be talking to somebody and suddenly, let's just say you hear a very loud noise that shakes the room, for example. By instinct, you're going to probably do something like this to protect yourself. That's the idea of self-preservation that stands out at that very second. But it's instinct. You first you do this, and then you're going to think about, what is this? What kind of sound is this? Am I doing the right thing? Should I, wake up, just get up and go where? You see, the strategy, the whole thinking process comes after you take the first action. That first action, which sometimes we call by impulse, is the instinct. On the other hand, intelligence is this intentional, not automated, intentional, thought out, or premeditated and calculated act. And it depends on circumstances. not necessarily you take the same action after thinking of something exactly the same. For example, when you dress up tomorrow morning, you just decide that, for what I'm going to do today, dressing in blue is nice. And next day, you're going to say, well, I need to go to this certain place. It's going to be better if I wear white clothing. So it's a thought out process, but the outcome is not always the same because it depends on circumstances. So the ability to analyze the circumstances, the surroundings, and make a decision, that is intelligence. That's not instinct. So beings such plants, for example, such as the plants, they don't have any intelligence because they don't go through a thinking process. They don't have the ability to, hey, stop everything. Let me put a strategy here. What am I going to do? Am I going to act this way? Am I going to act that way? That's for humans. We do that. So instinct is this automatic action. It's a reaction most of the times to some sort of physical integrity. Like I said, you hear something loud, you go like this. So you're protecting your physical being. Intelligence requires and is based upon reflection, complexity of things, deliberation, strategy. All of these things belong to the intelligence side of things, not to instinct. So intelligence, because it's a process that has to be thought through, it depends on the person, on each one, and is subject to error because we are not perfect. We can, within a situation, a circumstance, we can analyze, make our decisions, and they cannot be the best decision, but we won't know until maybe later. So there are possibilities. There is a possibility for error when you use intelligence. Instinct, not necessarily. There's no possibility for that because you're protecting yourself, for example. That's an interesting thing. Both of them, instinct and intelligence, I'm going to say that again, do not depend on matter. If it depended on matter, or for those who would probably consider that instinct and intelligence depend on matter, the material principle, think about this. An atom of carbon cannot be more intelligent than the other atom of carbon. They're all the same. Whatever chemical reaction that happens to one carbon atom happens to the other equally. The outcome is always the same because matter does not carry intelligence. Matter is manipulated by intelligences or an intelligent principle. So the source of instinct and intelligence is the intelligent principle, not the material principle. And again, intelligence is different for each person because it includes reasoning. And reasoning is this bridge between instinct and intelligence. It's like if you have here, this is instinct, this layer up is intelligence. What bridges them is reasoning. And remember, we said in the beginning, one of the outstanding attributes of the human kingdom is reasoning. So we do not stay on the instinct level. We are able to use our intelligence. But there's something interesting here because reasoning depends on our spiritual experiences, our spiritual history, which makes my reasoning be different than yours. It depends on our vices, pride, selfishness. All of these things have a say in our reasoning and the processes that we use with reasoning, meaning intelligence. Instinct, we could say that is more, we can think of something more collective. For example, you have birds flying. They're all flying, the same direction, the same way. They're all, flapping their wings and so. If they hear a hunter, for example, with a gun, shoots, it makes a noise. They all, without reasoning, they all go to the same direction or dive, or they go up or they go left, but they all do the same thing, exactly the same thing at the exact same time, without having to have a meeting. Okay, we heard this noise. Let's get together here and see what we're going to do. Oh, we decided that we're going to fly that way. No, they don't do that. So instinct, you see, it doesn't depend on the individual. It carries in it this collectiveness. It's almost the same for everyone. Same for fishes in the ocean. Just think of the fishes, they're all going side by side, and something happens. They all go to the same direction at the same time with the same speed. And there is no meeting to decide what they're going to do. No, it's all instinct. So it carries this idea of collectiveness. It's the same for everyone. Intelligence is not. Intelligence is different. So we could say that instinct is a non-reasoning intelligence. We can also say that instinct is this rudimentary intelligence, the seeds of intelligence. However, intelligence does not replace instinct. They coexist. We humans, we have both, and we use both. Sometimes we act by instinct, some other times we act by intelligence. In higher intelligence, because there will be several levels, right? Depends on the individual. Higher intelligences come with more spiritual progress. So spirits that have reached a higher level of moral advancement, spiritual advancement, they will have this higher intelligence. And so we could think that as we go along and we progress, we evolve, right? Our intelligence becomes more developed. So we could say that instinct weakens with the predominance of the intelligence, right? Intelligence kind of, with time, you will kind of, quotes, please take over. It never takes over because they both coexist, but it becomes predominant. When you look at animals, for example, it's totally different. Let's take a look at how instinct works in the three kingdoms: plants, animals, and us. So plants first. Let's think about them. First of all, they need air. So they need to seek air. If you put them in a place that air is too tight or so, they will, these plants, they have sensations. They will try to, accommodate themselves in a way that they seek air and they find it. They will turn towards the light, like I said, because they need the light. They will direct their roots in the soil towards water and more nutritious soil. So the roots below the earth, they can go this way or this way or this way. They will spread accordingly, depending on where and how they find water and a more or less nutritious soil. Here's another thing, still in the plants kingdom. The flowers, they will open and close according to necessity. Right? So the plants have this basic instinct. When you go to the animals kingdom, the animal kingdom, they still have the instinct. It's very predominant. It's one of the, like I said, it's the outstanding attribute of the animal kingdom. So with their instinct, they do a whole lot more than a plant will. So for some examples, through instinct, they are warned about beneficial or harmful situations, right? They will seek out propitious climates according to the seasons. That's why we see bird migration. And there's nobody telling them, man, hey guys, it's time to fly south. No, they just do it by instinct. By instinct, they build shelter for their offspring. It's instinct. They build traps to catch prey for nutrition, for feeding. They handle whatever weapons, defensive or offensive they have, in their own favor. Their sexual behavior and activity, it's all by instinct. Mothers in the animal kingdom, breastfeeding, same thing of some sort for those who are mammals. These are all things that do not require a very high level of intelligence. Just requires the minimum, the basic, the instinct, the seeds of intelligence. Now, when you get to humans, that's a whole different story, because now we have instinct, which is more developed, and you have reasoning, which will kind of turn instinct into intelligence. So instinct is still present in humans. Think of a child, for example, in the first days, in the beginning of life, instinct dominates the first movements, the idea that they can, try to stand up first and then later on to move their legs and walk. That's by instinct. They will grip things for nourishment. They will put things on their hands when they're in need of food. They will cry to express their needs. That's instinct. They, I'm hungry. If myself, Luiz Lima, if I'm hungry, I'm going to tell somebody or I'm going to act upon it. Children do this out of instinct in their first month of life or so. They imitate the sound of the voices that they hear. They try, but they can't speak yet. The speaking requires intelligence, not instinct. So that's children. Now, how about us, adults? First of all, we do instinct, right? Spontaneous movements to avoid hazard. Remember, I said in the beginning, you hear a loud noise, you go like protect yourself like this. That's a spontaneous movement. It's not a thought out process. No, you just act upon it. Later on, you're going to think about it. Pulling away from danger or dangerous situations, that instinct. Maintaining balance. If you're going to fall, you automatically adjust yourself without having to think. For example, this is an interesting example. Let's say you are sitting on a chair like I am right now, and you kind of take a quick nap, or you're in the verge of sleeping like this, you go like this. If the body starts going like this for one side, you're still sleeping, but then you bring yourself back to maintain balance. And it's not a conscious decision in terms of intelligence, because you're just acting out of instinct. It's just a reaction to a physical event. Our eyelids, when we blink them, because there's a bright light in front of us, we do this. We go like this by instinct. It's natural. Light comes up, we do like this. Then later on, we're going to see, what kind of light is this? Why is it, coming towards me? That's after we take the first action, the first automatic action. So instinct is present in humans too. However, what differentiates humans from animals in terms of intelligence and or instinct, whatever you analyze, is reasoning. We are able to insert, I'm going to use this word, insert reasoning into instinct, and that the outcome is intelligence. But again, rephrasing, intelligence does not replace instinct. They coexist, and we need both, and we use both. That's what I wanted to bring over today for our study, instinct and intelligence. Once again, this is on the Spirits book and also on Genesis chapter 3. That it's a pretty lengthy study. It's about maybe 7 or 8 pages, but it's nice. So thank you very much for being with us today. We will be here next week, Spiritism, a closer look, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks so much. Be well.